listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Hey everyone, did you wonder where I went to? Thanks for not forgetting about me. Feels like it's been a while since I published a podcast, but that's because I've been doing a ton of video, at least a ton of video for a girl who doesn't normally do video. But we were doing that. Oh yeah, the Ultimate Receiving Challenge. I'd never done an online event like that. That was super cool. In fact, you can still tune into that. If you missed it when we were doing it the first round, we're still doing that over at, you can sign up at goodvibechallenge.com. I think I did like 8 videos for that thing. And then I did a video training series on resolving the most common vibrational obstacles to manifesting what we want. You can find that at goodvibeblog.com/dream-delayers. I know that's a long URL. Just go to the blog. It's /dreams-delayers. Oh, yeah. So I'm done with video for a little while, I hope. Back to the podcast. And I had a topic that was been on my mind recently. I've probably talked about this before, but if I have, it deserves a repeat. I'm thinking about how smart it is for us when we feel tempted to figure it out, to feel it out instead. And I have a couple of recent examples about why this one is top of mind for me. So I just want to start off by saying, whenever you feel tempted to figure out a solution to a problem that's come up in your life, or when you're trying to find an answer to a question that's bothering you, or maybe you're just wondering how in the world your current situation could resolve itself into something halfway acceptable, instead of trying to figure that stuff out, conscious creators know to feel it out instead. Feel what you want instead of just trying to force it into happening. I've got 2 stories, one where I didn't get this so right and another one where I nailed it. So here's the one I didn't do super well. A good friend of mine, she had an experience and she told me the story of it, and it shook me, man. It left me feeling vulnerable and fearful. Those were probably the dominant vibrations. What happened was she had an issue with the cat. Her cat bit her, and it left her feeling flustered and aggravated. Anyway, long story short, it led to a kitchen fire where she sustained 2nd-degree burns. I won't go into all the details because it was the details that I got a little swept up in myself. And she's expecting to not be able to work for a full year. Those of you at GVU, you know the details of this story if you're keeping up in the forums. I'm telling you, her experience, it shook me. She and I have a lot in common. She lives alone. I live alone. She has an ornery cat. I have ornery cats. Her network of friends tends to be virtual. So does mine. So when you need a ride home from the hospital, who's going to do that? I felt so bad for her that I couldn't be there to help her through those first days back at home. But in the meantime, guess what I did? I was doing all sorts of things. Like I wasn't feeling it out in the way that I wanted. Instead, I was figuring it out. And I didn't figure it out very well, even though I was taking the right action. So, the first thing I did was I was thinking about my own financial situation. How long could I live off my savings? How would I get my work done if I didn't have 2 hands to type with? How could I make sure this doesn't happen to me? And I found myself being careful with the things that I was cooking in the kitchen. I was like paying good attention. No, not good attention. I was paying fearful attention to that gas flame and what was close to it. I even bought a new fire extinguisher. I mounted it in the kitchen pantry. I was talking about her experience with a couple people when I say it shook me. And it wasn't like dramatic. It's not like I was obsessed with her experience, but it got my attention. And it wasn't positive attention. It was, it left me feeling I was scared. I was scared for her, and it made me scared about whether that could happen to me. And guess what happened? Yeah, despite my whole making sure that this thing couldn't happen to me, one day, something weird happened with the kettle on my stove. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the kettle broke or what, but that thing, it doesn't whistle anymore. I haven't tested it too many times, but yeah, I burned off a whole teapot of water and that thing never whistled. And I didn't know that I'd burned off the water. I got over there. There was just barely a little bit of water left in it. I'm telling you what, it made me nervous. In fact, I made my cup of tea in a regular pot after that. I stood there and I watched it boil. I wasn't using that kettle again. It made me nervous. And I knew where that came from. And still, I didn't redirect my vibration. Okay, so then like a week later, maybe a week and a half, one night, I got a new feral cat in the house. He's a juvenile. He hasn't been outside in cold weather, and it gets cold up here. So, I mean, like, we've been in single digits even during the daytime recently. So I'm making this guy stay inside. And he likes to play upstairs at night while the rest of us are sleeping. And one night he was playing in the kitchen. He really likes it in there especially. And apparently he turned on a burner. No flame, he just turned on the gas. And I woke up to the smell of gas through the whole top floor of the house. I mean, it must have been on for a long time because every room smelled like it. That was scary. In fact, some of you might have seen my Facebook post where I was sharing how Jasmine, she's my friend's dog, who happened to be spending the night. That wasn't a planned thing. It was totally random and spontaneous. But she woke me up in the early morning whining, and I did not appreciate getting woken up in the morning, so I made her go outside. I had to push her outside. Normally, she's happy to go outside, but I had to push her outside. And then when she got out there, she turned right around and she just stared at me through the door, like for over 20 minutes, till I finally felt. So I was like telling her, go potty. I'll let you back in. Just go potty. Because I thought she was whining because she had to go potty. She wouldn't budge away from that door, just staring at me the whole time. So I got up to let her back in. And when I let her back in, I was like, do I smell gas? That can't be gas. That didn't make any sense. But sure enough, I checked. The whole house smelled like gas, not just the bedroom, which is far, far away from the kitchen. Anyway, okay, I hope I don't activate this in you by telling this story. But you could probably see the connections, right? How I'd activated fear when I heard my friend's story, and I didn't check that vibration. I just went into actions. I was figuring it out. I was figuring it out for myself so that wouldn't happen to me. And then what I tried to do, that was a total muggle approach, right? By just taking actions to prevent that. And then there that stuff was, sketchy stuff happening, because actions don't trump a vibration. Vibration always rules. So a smart girl would have gotten deliberate about activating the vibration of what she wanted. Like, I don't know, what's the opposite of fearful and vulnerable? Probably. In fact, let's just activate that right now so you all don't follow my bad example. It probably was like empowered and capable and comfortable, maybe secure, satisfied, relaxed. Yeah, relaxed. It doesn't take long to activate that stuff. All I have to do is just think about a little thing. Like, I even could have done it, even after, because, look, it probably is smart to have a fire extinguisher around. But if I would have just taken a little time to feel like capable or secure around it, although security kind of has a little bit of, I've heard Abraham talk about how security has a little bit of a foothold in what you're afraid of, like what you're trying to be secure from. So I don't know that that's the best one, but definitely empowered and capable and relaxed for sure would have done the trick. That's all it would have taken. And there's easy ways for me to find that way. Some examples are jumping to mind right now, but I don't want to have a super long podcast. But my next story will probably straighten us out on this. So here's a story recently of a time I got it right. In fact, this was just yesterday when I mailed out an invitation to everyone on my email list to join me for my next course, which is all about manifesting faster. It's how to done deal your big dream. And my virtual assistant, she made the sign-up page for me. And so I sent out my note inviting everyone to go click and join. And pretty soon I was getting emails back from people who were saying the sign-up link didn't work at all. And I was like, it better just be for those couple people. And I tested it myself. Sure enough, it didn't work at all. I was like, oh my word. I might have had some swear words in there. Of all the things to get wrong, of all the things, not the PayPal link. I wasn't laughing at the time. I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing in that red hot moment. But it only took probably about 5 seconds for me going, having some bad vibrations around it, for me to go, okay, that vibration isn't going to take you to good places. I knew if I continued with that one, I was going to be picking the reality where signups were dismal and there'd hardly be any like excitement or enthusiasm or good energy in the group, because when it was time for me to tell people about it, they couldn't get in, and that is not what I wanted. So I just reminded myself what I did want. I felt it out. Instead of figuring it out, I felt it out first before I did anything. Plus I had a little vibration about my VA, my virtual assistant, and I was like, it wasn't good stuff going on there. I'm not going to elaborate, but it didn't take me very long. Seriously, just a couple seconds, because I've been working so, I don't want to say hard, but I've been so committed to a better vibration for support, because that is not one that I have nailed before, but I made fabulous progress this recently. I'll say last several months, last year, I made a ton of progress, and I'm really enjoying this new place. I really, really love having reliable support that's bringing me what I wanted in my business. Anyway, I didn't want to give that up, and I could feel it slipping in these couple seconds where I was like, the PayPal link doesn't work. So I decided that's not what I'm having. I'm not giving up my good VA vibration. I'm not giving up the sales for my new course. So I felt what I wanted instead. And, there's probably a way I could have changed the past possibly, but it just felt easier to go this way with it. And that was to decide that things are even better because of this. Things are even better because of this. This isn't an obstacle. This isn't a handicap. This is a benefit. And that might seem like a challenging thing to embrace, but we've had so many examples, not just from our own life, but from those that we know. In fact, my favorite example is from a scene in District 9, that movie from years ago. I love that movie. There was a scene where, I won't elaborate on what it was, but basically the only reason they got what they wanted was because of something that looked like it went wrong, all the way wrong. But in hindsight, you could tell that if that bad thing hadn't happened, things never would have worked out for them. So I just decided that's what was happening here. That's what was happening to me. That things are working out because of this, that somehow universe orchestrated this for my benefit. And that's all it took for me to feel better about it, to get relaxed, to feel good again, to drop that anxiety, that anger, that feeling like lost opportunities, that embarrassment that I would mess this up. All I had to do was just have a different thought, better feeling thought. That's all it took. So I felt that one out. And then I had a thought, you know what you could do? You just send out an email. And, maybe it'll help to share a couple details, because my VA had set it up with, this offer had a bonus. It said, for the first 3 people who sign up, you get an extra bonus. When I saw that, I was like, 3 people? That's going to go fast. That's kind of stingy, but I get it. No, I get it. She's right. Fine. It's just 3. But then after I felt it out differently, the problem happened. No one could sign up. And then I felt it out no, this is a good thing. This is for your benefit. And then I got an inspiration to send out an email and, with the right link, and then to say, hey, actually, let's extend that bonus for the people who signed up. And it was just purely inspired. In fact, while I was typing up that email, my VA had written, she's like, maybe you should send out an email saying, whoops, this bad thing happened and we're fixing it now. I'm like, I'm already typing it up. But the thing is, I was typing that up with good energy, not the bad energy. Not like when I installed a fire extinguisher with fearful energy. This was sending out the email with good energy, and it made a huge, huge difference. In fact, it made a huge difference. I'm super, super excited to welcome everyone who's joining me for that course. So that's my tip for this episode. It's for you to pay attention where you might find yourself inclined to figure it out before you've had a chance to feel out what you want first, because our actions are going to unfold very differently when we do it with the right vibration in place. And I am proof of how a person can know this and not necessarily practice it consistently. So here's to us having more awareness and cluing into those opportunities to plug into the vibration that serves us better. Hope you got some inspiration from this. Thanks for listening, and I will have another episode for you soon. Big love, everyone.